In his mind, a panel appeared. Planet level 0, planet diameter 0.81 kilometers, planet species, deduction route, none. After everyone successfully awakens the planet, there is a data panel. The difference was that a deduction route appeared on Alexander Sebastian's screen. It is a product of the system. Alexander Sebastian looked at it carefully and asked, "System, the deduction route is determined by me?" The system did not reply. It was a tacit agreement. "System, help me deduce the path of life on this planet." Alexander Sebastian thought for a moment and said. A moment later, a few lines appeared on the panel. Path of deduction, birth of life on the planet. Deduction result, convert origin energy into extraordinary energy, and then catalyze life. Success rate, 0.01%. Convert origin energy into normal energy, and then catalyze life. Success rate, 0.1%. Convert origin energy into light energy, and then perfect the surrounding environment of the planet, creating a good cradle for the birth of life. Over time, slowly wait for the birth of life. Success rate, 99%. A total of 3 deduction routes appeared on the panel, and Sebastian looked at it. The probability of converting the origin energy into extraordinary energy is only 0.01%. Even if it is converted into normal energy, there is almost no chance of life being born. He saw the first 2 routes, and he was not surprised at all. In the third type, there was a 99% chance. This was almost a certainty. What he saw was somewhat mysterious. It was to allow the planet to generate its own life. Perfect the environment on the planet and allow life to be born on its own. Would that be the same as Earth in my former life? Looking at the third deduction route, Sebastian could not help but raise his eyebrows. The planet that just awakened is equivalent to a lifeless place, just like Saturn and Mars. Sebastian thought to himself, "It's just that this world has origin energy and it can be converted into spirit energy and other extraordinary energy which can catalyze life. It's almost impossible for Mars to automatically produce life." Sebastian could not help but think of the original Earth. Earth was the only living planet that humans had discovered in the previous universe. Even so, the birth of life on Earth was also the result of various coincidences. Earth had a history of 4.6 billion years. It was not until 500 to 500 million years that life was born. It could be said the birth of life was a miracle. The third route given by the system is similar to Earth. Sebastian could not help but think, from the process of life on Earth, we need water, suitable sunlight, temperature, and the atmosphere. Only then can life be born and developed, but these conditions are not so easy to satisfy. Water, suitable sunlight, temperature, atmosphere, etc. It's equivalent to creating an environment on Mars in my previous life and then allowing Mars to automatically generate life. This is almost impossible. If I didn't have the deduction system, I definitely wouldn't be able to figure out what kind of degree is appropriate. For this world, this method was simply impossible. After thousands of years of planet awakening, there were only a few ways to create life. The most common and best used was to convert origin energy into extraordinary energy. Under the catalyst of extraordinary energy, a planet would easily give birth to life. Moreover, there was a probability of a supernatural creature being born. The more advanced the born life was, the stronger the vitality of the planet, and the better the future. If it was an ordinary life form, naturally, the development potential could not be compared to the planet where supernatural beings were born. If I use the third route to produce life, it should be an ordinary life. Sebastian thought of this. There was no unwillingness in his heart, but there was also a trace of excitement. After all, this was a life born naturally, without much interference from external forces. If it was the way life was born in the past, it was like putting spirit energy into Mars, and it would simply and roughly catalyze life. This method could quickly give birth to life, but it is artificially created. It was equivalent to creating an ecosystem. After that, he had to take care of it all the time. With one mistake, the ecosystem would collapse. If life was born naturally, it was just like Earth from his former life. There would be more and more lives, so Sebastian did not need to take care of them. One was an artificial ecosystem, and the other one was the natural ecosystem, which was better, one could tell at a single glance. Although the probability of life born from this route is ordinary life, its development potential would not be any weaker than those planets that were catalyzed by supernatural energy. Although ordinary life could not develop a supernatural civilization, there is still technology. Sebastian could create a technological civilization. If technological civilization had developed to a certain level, it would not be inferior to those supernatural civilizations. In Sebastian's memory, many science fiction works from his earlier life describe the shocking level of technology in the future. There were powerful existences, and it was no exaggeration to say that the development of science had no end. Thinking of this, Sebastian made a decision, but in reality, he had no choice now. The third route had a 99% success rate. It was almost a certainty. System, use the third deduction route to help me deduce the various conditions for the birth of life, Sebastian ordered.